Hello and welcome to Wireman's Whimsy, or welcome back if you've been here before. If you haven't, welcome, welcome. Today I want to introduce the Wild Fern Dies. They are on page 21 of the January to April mini catalog. There is a stamp set that goes with. I chose just to get the dies because I loved the way they looked and I loved what you could do with them. So these are the dies. My favorite thing is the greetings frames that you can layer up. Like one will fit on top of the other, on top of the other. So you can make a really, really strong greeting. Because it's the dies, I don't have the stamps. There are no greetings with it, but I have lots on my shelf that I can use. So these are the dies. And what they cut out. Of course, these go with the stamps in the set, but you could still use it as background or used a variegated DSP to cut it out with, to give it depth. But these two are the ones that I was really, really, really excited about. We do have another set that has very similar idea to it. And that is the timeless arrangement dies, where you can cut out and add to your frames. But I like the way these ones go around the corner. So as an introduction, I made just a super simple card. So I used a greeting from the Heartfelt Hellos, which is a celebration right now, available in Canada with a $60 purchase. And I used some of the retired Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper in behind. Super simple. This is Berry Burst. The greeting is in Berry Burst, and the background is in Granny Apple Green. But I wanted to show you how these dies work, and specifically because the first time I used the die, I found that it didn't actually cut through the paper all the way. So what I did is I used a shim, and I wanted to just show you how a shim works. Just want to make sure that I've got a good sized piece of paper here that I can actually put the whole die on, and I can for this one. So you just need to sandwich it up and put your piece of paper down. Now, every die cutting machine is different. They're all calibrated just that little bit differently. So you may or may not need to do this with your machine. And I think I've just covered up my shim, and I have. A shim is just another piece of cardstock. You may not even need to go with cardstock. You could even go with Designer Series paper, depending on how much you need. You just put that right over top like that, and then you sandwich over top. What it does is it adds that little extra bit of pressure. What I found is when I did this and ran it through the machine a couple of times, like put it through forward and then bring it back through, and it can make the machine a little bit stiff because you've got that extra layer in there. So it makes it really easy to release the die, or the die cut from the die. So what we end up with is this, and it will all lift away. If you find that it cuts, but you're really struggling to release it from the die, then you can use wax paper. Just put a sheet of wax paper between your cardstock and your die. So if you want to do that, you'd put your cardstock down, you'd put wax paper over top, and then you'd put your die down, and that wax paper will help release your die cut. So I'm just going to grab another piece of the Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to run it through again. So I will do the sandwich again, and just put it down, run it through, and get my shim like this, and then sandwich it up and run it through. And when I run it through, I run it forward and back, just to absolutely make sure that it's cutting.
and then we build that card really quickly. The card is super, super simple. I just wanted something really quick that we could build, and I could show you how to use this really detailed die. So I'm just going to shimmy things around here. I'm just going to move this up out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. Get my little piercing tool, take all the little bits out, and then I just release one corner and you can slide that underneath, and then just really gently just lift it out. And if it's being difficult, you can always go in and just use your piercing tool to just give it a poke through the little holes that are in the die. So there we go. We've got our two pieces that we need. So I can pop that back on there. And then we're going to build our card. So this is a side opening landscape card. Because the front is a little bit heavy, I didn't want to do a tent card because it would just fall apart. And I used the stripes embossing folder to just add some detail to the top and bottom. And because it's the detail, it's a really 3D folder, I'm just going to put adhesive all the way around, like this. And layered up. I'm just going to move this. I've got a bunch of stuff on my desk. I've got a bunch of stuff prepped. I'll just move this up so you can see me in frame here. And then I just line this up like I normally would, drop it down. And then we're going to do the same thing with the adhesive on the Bright and Beautiful piece of Designer Series paper. We are going all the way around the edge so that it really does cling to the raised pieces on the background, on the mat. So just lay that down nice and flat. And then what we need to do is I'm going to put adhesive just like halfway onto the halfway onto the back of the greeting, which I did pre-cut with the largest of the greeting dies. So now I'm going to pull in my little frames here and line this up. I'm leaving a little bit of an edge and then putting this one on. You don't have to leave an edge. You can put it right up against it. You can overlap it. I just wanted a little bit of that edge showing on this one. So line it up, press it down, and that is the fern used there. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. Give it a really, I just wanted to lift those kind of fern bits off the background so they don't blend in, because they're granny apple green and they're going to overlap the granny apple green on the card. So, and then we just center it and pop it down. You can add bling to it if you want to, or just leave it like this. But that is the Wild Fern Dies from the new mini catalog. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.